and businesses in Ghana not being given the capacity to employ. The incubator for jobs is the private sector, not government or the public sector. Expect increases in VAT, whether they are dedicating it to health, pensions, or dedicating it to free senior high school or national health insurance. We've been there before, 2.5% VAT dedicated to Get Fund. And you recall that when they implemented free senior high school, we said no, noble policy objective, but sustainability could only be achieved if they increase taxes. Now, what was their promise in the 2016 elections and in their manifesto? They said from taxation to production. Today, we are back to taxation. And that's why I say that Dr. Bawumia, Vice President and Chairman of the Economic Management Team, is probably likely to suffer from an incurable credibility crisis. He said that the money was there. He's been governor of Bank of Ghana. They didn't need to increase taxes. Today, let him speak with the same tongue that they are not increasing taxes. Now, we are worried about an administration which spends a whooping $1.2 billion on a Ghana card or national ID system. And I'm challenging the president, the vice president, and all his actors to deny and share with the Ghanaian people the numbers to which they have committed over the 15-year period for the implementation of the Ghana card. And I'll give any of them a stone if it was not the case. They keep going back and forth. And that translates into $42 per person with a population of 29 million Ghanaians. You have only 7 million Ghanaians who have passports, birth certificate and passports, 2 million respectively. So we've raised legitimate legal questions even about the non-use of the voter ID card.
But Honorable, you do understand that we need some of these ones. First, there was the introduction of the Ghana Post GPS, which will enable people to be identified, to be tracked and located. And then we're going to have the overall database of the national identification system coming into place so that government's own agenda, for which even your party's government, when you were in office, had thought about to broaden the tax net, so to speak. And that's the way to go to rope everybody in.
Having a national ID system remains a national imperative. It's good for economic and development planning, combating crime, and for the banking sector. But our concern largely is the cost. And they not using the ID card, which is recognized under Article 42 of the Constitution. They must govern in accord with law. If you think that we shouldn't be raising cost issues, that's your problem. But we have a responsibility to the taxpayer and to protect the payers. How can you justify $1.2 billion for a card? How can you pay for the $2 to do a card? Just walk to the streets of Osu. Now you want to do an ID card with all its features and see whether you have to pay $40 for it.
But in the other side of the argument is that we need other sectors growing. And we've had a lot more receipts from oil because of the fixing of the FPSOs coming in and the various wells also on stream, etc. But we also know that on the international front, the prices have been increasing, even though not sharply, but marginally. At the end of the day, government would have to contend with that.
No, even an increase. The increase in global prices of petroleum benefits this government. Oil revenue under the NDC was probably in the region of 100 to 200 million Ghana. They have had to earn 508 million Ghana as a result of the increased prices. So to whom much is given, much is to be expected. They've got more coming in by way of oil revenue than was the case in 2015 and 2016. They don't have a superior debt management strategy. The best to manage debt, which they themselves acknowledge in the budget statement of 2018, has been the consolidated energy sector levy and using it to deal with the legacy debt and debt in the energy sector. I worry about the fate of Ghanaian banks that are struggling with capitalization. The president set up a committee to look into it. He should deal with it head on. It's not a matter of postponement because that is important for the financial sector and the banking sector. They hold lots of Ghanaians in employment, and we need to be able to protect indigenous Ghanaian businesses and Ghanaian banks. So I expect the president to decisively support and help indigenous banks and review as is necessary in the national interest, the strong regulation that are getting them struggle to meet minimum capital requirement, and to spread it over a period of time. They are capable, but give them some time to be able to mobilize and to respond to that. Thank you.